Good morning everyone. My name is D. Vimala, MSc Physics. I work as a lecturer in TTWRDC, Suryapet. Today the topic of my presentation is polarization of light. I am going to talk about the topic polarization. So polarization is an important physical property of electromagnetic waves which is connected with the transversality character with respect to the direction of propagation of the electric and magnetic field vectors. So the light is called as unpolarized light. If the direction of this electric field fluctuates randomly in time, many common light sources such as sunlight, halogen lightnings, LEDs, etc. produce unpolarized light. So the topics of definition of polarization, types of polarization, Brewster's law, Malus law, nickel prism, quarter wave plate, half wave plate, bobinette compensator and optical activity. So polarized light. Vibration lie on one single plane only is called as polarized light. And second one is unpolarized light. Superposition of many beams in the same direction of propagation but each with random polarization is known as unpolarized light. So polarized and unpolarized light indicates shown in figure. So first of all we know the two terms polarizer and analyzer. Polarizer is the produces the plane polarized light and polarization can be reduced the unpolarized light. So that is called as polarizer. And analyzer, that is check whether the light has been polarized or not, that is called as analyzer. So next, types of polarization. There are three types of polarization. First one, linear polarization, and second one is circular polarization, and third one is elliptical polarization. So first one is linear polarization. Electric field vector oscillates along a straight line in one plane. So this is called as linear polarization. This shown in figure. And second one is circular polarization. It consists of two perpendicular plane electromagnetic waves with equal amplitude and 90 degrees phase difference. Plane of oscillation rotates around the propagation axis, may be right circularly polarized or left circularly polarized. This is called as circular polarization. And next one is elliptical polarization. So it consists of two perpendicular waves of unequal amplitudes that differ in phase by 90 degrees. So the resultant electric field vector describes an ellipse in any fixed plane intersecting and normal to the direction of propagation. This is called as elliptical polarization. So next one is methods of polarization. If it is possible to transform polarized light into unpolarized light into polarized light. So polarized light waves are in which the vibrations occur in a single plane. So the process of transforming unpolarized light into polarized light is known as polarization. So the methods of polarizations is reflection, refraction, double refraction and scattering, and last one is selective absorption. So the process of polarization is indicates the figure. So the many of light incident on the crystal plate. So the plate is in all directions. So the polarizer is eliminate of light in many directions. It passes through the only one direction. So that is called as polarized light. So polarization by reflection. So Unpolarized light can be polarized either partially or completely by reflection. So the amount of polarization in the reflected beam depends on the angle of incidence. The process of reflection is shown in figure. So the light incident on the glass surface, light is reflected with the same angle of incidence. In the path of reflected ray, place a crystal and rotate slowly. It will be observed that light is completely out only at one particular angle of incidence. So this angle of incidence is equal to 57.5 degrees. So for a glass surface, and this is known as polarizing angle. The production of light by glass is explained as the vibrations of incident light can be resolved into two components. One is parallel to the glass surface and the other one is perpendicular to the glass surface. The light due to the components parallel to the surface is reflected, whereas where components are perpendicular to the surface is transmitted. So the light reflected by glass surface is plane polarized. So the components parallel to the surface is reflected and perpendicular to the components of surface is transmitted. So this process is known as reflection. So the applications of reflection is sunglasses and photographic filters, so etc. Next one is polarization by refraction. When the light is incident unpolarized ray enters some crystals, it will be split into the two rays called ordinary and extraordinary rays, which are plane polarized in the directions at right angles to each other. So the process of refraction is shown in figure. So the pile of plates consists of number of glass plates and are supported in a tube of suitable size and are inclined at an angle of 32.5 degrees. To the axis of the tube is a monochromatic light is allowed to fall on the pile of plates at the polarizing angle. The transmitted light is polarized perpendicular to the plane of incidence and can be examined by a similar pile of plates which works as an analyzer. So if the light is polarized perpendicular to the plane of incidence, it means vibrations are in the plane of incidence. So this process is known as refraction. So refraction of applications, LCDs, biprisms and retinal diagnosis, etc. So next one, polarization by double refraction. When light is refracted into two rays, each polarized with vibration directions oriented at right angles to one another and traveling at different velocities, this phenomenon is known as double refraction. So the process of double refraction is in 1869 Bartholinius discovered that when a beam of ordinary unpolarized light is passed through a calcite crystal, so the refracted light is split up into two refracted rays. So the one which always obeys the laws of refractions and having vibrations perpendicular to the principal section is known as ordinary ray, and the other one is does not obeys the laws of refractions and having vibrations in the principal section is called as extraordinary ray. So the both rays are plane polarized. So this phenomenon is known as double refraction. So for example, the process of double refraction is like an ink dot is made on a white paper and a calcite crystal is placed on it. So now looking through the top face, two images are observed. So if now the crystal is rotated slowly in the direction, it is observed that one image remains stationary and the other image is rotates in the direction of rotation of the crystal. So that stationary image is known as ordinary image, and while the rotating image is known as extraordinary image. So the double refraction of refractive indices of ordinary and extraordinary rays, that is mu naught is equal to sin I by sin R naught and mu E is equal to sin I by sin RE. So in case of calcite, that is mu naught is greater than mu E when R naught is less than RE. Here R naught and RE is the refraction of angles of ordinary and extraordinary rays. So when both rays are travel with the same velocity along the optic axis. Next one, polarization by scattering. When a light wave passes through a gas, it will be absorbed and then re-radiated in a variety of directions. This process is called scattering. So when a light wave passes through a gas, it will be absorbed that then re-radiated in a variety of directions. This process is called as scattering. So let consider a gas molecule at point. The electric field in the beam of sunlight sets the electric charges in the molecule into vibration. Since light is a transverse wave, the direction of the electric field in any component of the sunlight lies in the YZ plane, and the motion of charges takes place in this plane. So the molecule re-emits the light because the charges are oscillating, but an oscillating charge does not radiate in the direction of its oscillation, so it does not send any light to the observer directly. This is known as scattering. So the applications of scattering is, why is the sky blue and why is the red sunset? So why is the sky blue is, so we have 7 colors of lights. So that is the shorter wavelengths of lights and longer wavelengths of light. So as sunlight moves through the atmosphere, longer wavelengths of color is red, so pass straight through. However, shorter wavelength means blue color interact with gas molecules and scatter in the atmosphere. So the sky is blue. And next one, the red sunset. So as the sun approaches the horizon during the sunset, sunlight travels longer distance to reach our eyes. Hence, light with shorter wavelength are scattered more before reaching our eyes, and thus sunset appears red. So that is the shorter wavelength of blue is interact with gas molecules. So that is sky is blue, and the longer wavelength of red color reach the earth in short time. So the sunset appears red. So the scattering is depends upon the wavelengths. Next one is polarization of selective absorption. So such crystals are used which transmits wave whose electric field vibrates in a particular plane and absorb electric field vibrating the other planes. So the process of selective absorption is, in 1815, Bates discovered the certain minerals of crystals absorbs light selectively. When ordinary light enters a crystal of tourmaline, double refraction takes place as in crystal, but with a difference. So the ordinary ray is entirely absorbed in the crystal while extraordinary ray passes through the crystal. So this difference in the absorption for the rays is known as selective absorption. And next one is Brewster's law. It is found that experimentally when the reflected ray is perpendicular to the refracted ray, so the reflected ray will be completely polarized. Brewster proved that the tangent of the polarization angle is directly proportional to the refractive index of the medium. So that is mu is proportional to tan p, that is mu is equal to tan p. So the angle of incidence at which reflected light is completely plane polarized is called the polarizing angle or Brewster's angle. So here n1 sin theta p is equal to n2 sin theta r. So n1, n2 the refractive indices of the medium 1 and 2. So here theta p and theta r is the polarizing angles of and refraction angle, polarizing angle and refraction angle. So here sin theta p is equal to n2 by n1 sin theta, and sin theta p by sin theta r, that is equal to n2 by n1, that is equal to refractive index. So refractive index is tan theta p. So here sin theta p by cos theta p, that is equal to sin theta p by sin theta r. Here both sides sin theta p and sin theta p is cancelled. So that is cos theta p is equal to sin theta r. Sin theta r is equal to sin into 90 minus theta p. So here sin cancel. Theta p is equal to 90 minus theta r. That is theta p plus theta r is equal to 90 degrees. Therefore, the reflected and refracted rays are at right angles to each other. So this is Brewster's law. And next one is Malus law. When a beam of completely plane polarized light is passed through analyzer, the intensity I of transmitted light through analyzer varies directly as the square of the cosine angle between the transmission direction of polarizer and analyzer. This is known as Malus law. So that is the intensity of light is I is directly proportional to the square of the cosine angle, that is I is proportional to the cos square theta. So that is I is equal to I naught cos square theta. Here I naught is the maximum intensity of transmitted light. In special cases, when theta is equal to 0 degrees or 180 degrees, that is cos theta is equal to plus or minus 1. So that I is equal to I naught, that is when the transmission directions of polarizer and analyzer are parallel or anti-parallel to each other. The maximum intensity of plane polarized light is transmitted by the analyzer and is equal to the intensity emerging from the polarizer. So this is known as Malus law. Next one is Nicol prism. It was designed by William Nicol in 1820. So Nicol prism based on the principle of double refraction. It is an optical device which is used for producing and analyzing plane polarized light. The crystal is cut into two pieces by a plane perpendicular to the principal section as well as the new end faces. So The process of Nicol prism is when an unpolarized light is passed through a uniaxial crystal, it splits up into two planes polarized, that is ordinary and extraordinary rays. In Nicol prism, ordinary ray is examined by the principal in Nicol prism, ordinary ray is eliminated by the principle of total internal reflection, so that the extraordinary ray is transmission out as plane polarized. So a calcite crystal whose length is 3 times its breadth and angles in the principal section should be 68 degrees and 112 degrees. The crystal is then cut into two pieces along the plane joining the two corners and perpendicular to the principal section. The cut pieces are polished optically flat and then cemented together by a Canada balsam. So this Canada balsam is a transparent liquid and its refractive index lies in between refractive index of ordinary and extraordinary rays. So the ray of means the ray of ordinary ray of refractive index mu naught is equal to 1.66 and the extraordinary ray of refractive index mu e is equal to 1.49 and the Canada balsam of refractive index is mu is equal to 1.55. That is Nicol prism. And application of Nicol prism is Nicol prism acts as an polarizer and analyzer. So is shown in figure and explain the figure is when two Nicol prisms are arranged coaxially, then the first Nicol which produces plane polarized light is known as polarizer, while the second which analyzes the polarization of light is known as analyzer. When two Nicol prisms are arranged their principal sections parallel to each other and then the extraordinary ray transmitted by one is freely transmitted by the other. If the second one is gradually rotated and then intensity of extraordinary ray gradually decreases. When the two Nicol prisms are right angles to each other, that is they are in